Hello and welcome to today's episode of Focus Atlanta. I'm your host, Keisha Lancelin. Thanks so much for tuning in with us this Sunday afternoon. In our first segment, we're going to talk a little bit about allergy season. I don't know about you guys, but I suffer during this time of year. Well, I'm here with Joel Twist, and we're going to talk a little bit about the trees that help and hinder.
How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks so much for coming on the show. I'm sure you get these type of questions all the time this time of year.
All the time.
So we feel like there's nothing that we could do, but maybe during that planting season, there is something. Are there any particular trees that cause more pollen that we could maybe avoid?
Yeah, typically your biggest producers of pollen are going to be like oak, maple, river birch, beech trees, things like that. Where you'll have other trees like crabapple, dogwood, and smaller, ornamental type trees that don't produce as much pollen. So those would be better to plant if you have allergy issues.
Okay, see, that's good to know. I think that we all assume that if there's a tree around, we're going to be in trouble, so it doesn't really matter. But you're saying if we know on the front end, as we're doing that landscaping, as we're making those decisions, which ones, could, cause the least amount of harm to us and our families, we'll be a little bit better off.
Yeah, it can curb the pollen count, in your, we'll say, little micro environment around your home. In Atlanta, there's so many trees in Atlanta. You're going to deal with pollen a little bit. Knowing when peak times for pollen is usually, warm sunny days, early morning, early afternoon. That's going to be your peak pollen counts. So maybe try to avoid being out in those times, and adjusting your landscape to reduce the pollen count can help as well. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I don't think that I knew that. I don't think that I knew that certain times of the day mattered per se. Again, for those of us who suffer, it feels like, okay, I got to go outside any time of the day. I'm going to be in trouble. But you're saying if we kind of, tailor those errands and things around specific times of the day, we might be better off.
Yeah, you could do that. It'll help. Pollen season is so long in Atlanta. So we typically start in March, and it's still going strong towards, end of May, June. But kind of tailoring your day around when the pollen count is the lowest will help a little bit for you, give you a little bit of reprieve. So.
Oh, I love that. That is a fantastic tip. I think that, many of our viewers, again, feel that we're in the South, we're in Georgia, we're going to be doomed no matter when we go outside. But knowing that we could tailor, when we do those things that we don't necessarily have to do at a certain time of day, if we could curb that a little bit, we'd be better off. Are there any other tips that we maybe could use?
Yeah, I would say enjoy your landscape, regardless if you had allergies. Care for your trees, and just realize that this is just part of nature. So we need trees to create pollen. That's how we keep trees growing and plants growing. But also know that it's not always the tree's fault. So you get into the late summer, into the hotter seasons, you start to deal with the grass pollen. So.
Oh, okay. Now see, you're teaching me something else. I didn't even know that was a thing. So it's not always the tree's fault. Sometimes there's a thing called grass pollen.
Yep.
Is that the same time of year?
Well. Grass pollen usually spikes once the warmer weather comes in. So, summertime, things like that. So if you're dealing with allergy issues during the summer or late summer, typically that's going to be some grass pollen that you're dealing with there.
Okay, well, you know what's even better though is having an expert to help you along the way. So before I let you get out of here, can I get a website for Davey? Because we're not going to remember this information. We kind of need that expert to kind of tailor it for us. So where can we find you guys?
Well, you can find us at www.davey.com, and you can search your local Davey office or representative and reach out to us there.
Thanks so much for your time today. It was good to meet you.
Thank you very much. It was nice to meet you as well.
All right, guys, there is hope. He has some tips there, some things I didn't even know. And I've been a sufferer in Georgia. You know, I'm a Georgia girl, so I've been suffering for years. Please take the opportunity to visit Davey if this is in fact something that they can help you with in your lawn care. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to this segment of Focus Atlanta. We'll be right back with more.